So let us have a look at the software per se. So I have uploaded on the LMS, and I think I should share that LMS details first. I think you all have had a chance to look at the LMS where I have uploaded. Just give me a moment. Let me just put that on. So on LMS, I have actually put across some of the sample data files, okay, that you can actually use to perform some of the analysis. Even in Excel also you can do that, but you can also use that to convert data from Excel to SPSS compatible forms. And you can try your practice sessions on SPSS, given the currently, since you're all outside and in your different houses and all that, if you have the system requirements, you can download a version of that and you can use it. Otherwise, when you're back here, you can use it, or maybe it's the same kind of, for example, factor, cluster and all that, you can try out in different software as well. So the files given to you are such that from Excel, you can try your practice session to convert it into SPSS, and there are a little bit of some little bit of extra features which are there in Excel, in SPSS, which helps you to do the analysis better. But in order to do that, the file will have to be properly configured, or the data entry has to be done appropriately. So I'll show you all how that can be done. In the meantime, I wanted to show you for the resources that I've uploaded on LMS. So you can see on the screen, this is your LMS. And I have put across the details about introduction to SPSS, one of the international references from University of South Australia. So they have exhaustively detailed about how to go about it and all. So in case you click that, that's a URL which will lead to an external site, and you can see for yourself here that once you click the site, it will try to take you with a net connection. You will be able to access at your free time, or whenever it is that you're comfortable with time, space, system, it will actually detail. So what I'm showing across to you is not only what we will be doing in the class or what will be there as part of some YouTube videos, but actually from the beginning to the end of using SPSS for certain critical analytical purposes, the detailed instructions are given here. And I have also given the same in the form of a PDF download, which is there. So this is the site. Right now, what you're seeing is the online real-time access to the different website, to the site which has been mentioned, where it, right from creating the data set. So there are some sample data sets there which I used. Same set of data sets I have downloaded for Excel version, as well as the .ss version, that is your SPSS version of the file. I have downloaded and also put up on the LMS. So with that, what happens? These are some of the sample data files which are there. And if you see on the site on the right-hand side, if you observe the cursor now, it will help you to go through different aspects, like what is SPSS, how do you open the data, how do you navigate through SPSS. Now I understand that this software, like any software, is very versatile. It has a lot of applications, and most of the time we don't really use most of the applications actually. All right, so having done a lot of research, even we also haven't explored like 100% of the software. We would have used almost 70, 75 or 80% of the software as such. We also haven't really fully explored it, but it has tremendous scope. Like any analytical software, huge and scope is there. So how to use it for the basic starting purpose is all detailed here, which you will get on the right-hand side of the screen. All right, and how to manage data in SPSS. How do you import data from Excel? Because most of the time, the standard version where you get the data dump, whether you're using Google Forms or any e-questionnaire, would be to get the data dumped into an Excel file or a Google Sheets format, right? That is what you have seen also when you develop the small questionnaire that you develop to do a pilot study, pre-testing. So the data normally will get captured there if it is a e-questionnaire. If it is not an e-questionnaire, electronic questionnaire, if there is a research where physical questionnaires are made out in paper and print format, and when the answers come in through those questionnaires, the answers also, so hard copy formats of questionnaires, the data in that will also have to be finally entered. The data entry has to be done into some form of software, and most often the data entry for any kind of such forms will be done in Excel. All right, so there will be primarily the Excel sheet which will contain the raw data from any source whatsoever, the researcher's own generated source, or there would be some source of data that the researcher would have got from somewhere. For example, if you want to do a research on some customer analysis of a retail store, so where do you get the data? You will definitely get the data from the customer database that the retailer will have, right? So any organization will also have some kind of data that is created. And as you are all aware, as part of business research also, you need to keep this in mind, because of the connectivity, because of our electronic connectivity, the internet and the network systems that we have, most of the time organizations have real time, lot of data getting generated every nanosecond of our time that we have in this world. So what happens is we do have a lot of data sets actually, which is there. So many of these data sets actually, if you want to do some kind of slicing and dicing of the data, you need to cut and take a portion of the data and do some analysis. So the source of the data will already exist and is not necessarily only from a questionnaire and then it is coming from the questionnaire into an Excel sheet. So primarily one needs to understand that if you want to use the analytical software, you need to understand that there has to be a source of data put into the software. So as per the software's format required, data would have to be imported into the software. Right. Similarly, for SPSS, this option is also here, which you see on the screen. It will help you. In addition to this site, of course, and the PDF that I have given you, in addition to that, I have also uploaded some YouTube videos, so that they are short videos, which are very simply explaining in bits and pieces, like how do you enter the data? How do you enter the data if there are questions like Likert scale, or multiple choice questions, some, single choice questions and all. So what I have given to all of you is a combination of internet learning resource, okay, which you can access online. I have given you PDF download, so you have textual material also to refer for using the analytical software. In addition to all of that, again, YouTube videos, because most of you will have YouTube access, right? And it is always easy to see the YouTube videos. But there is no one single YouTube video which will detail the entire operation of SPSS, because that will be like a huge time. All right, and it will become very complex, and for you beginners, it might become boring, or it might become very like confusing, which is what. So it is better to have videos that you can use, which are small, which are of a particular purpose. So those kind of YouTube videos also I have uploaded on your LMS for your use. Not only now, you can store the links and you can use it in the future. All right, so that is one. Now, second thing is, so this internet site will help you to get familiar with SPSS even after we have finished this course in this semester. Even if you are here in the college or not here in the college, you are working somewhere else, you can always use this resource. And of course, to refer back to the usage of SPSS at any given point of time in the future, you can always contact me. All right, so importing of data into SPSS or SPSS data to be exported back to Excel also, the features are there and you can have a look at that. The main thing right now that we need to look at is how to enter the data, or how to get the data, and how to do the labeling coding in SPSS so that the software can use it. So there are certain things which are also given in the website, which details about describing the data, how you use the different facilities for analysis, all of that. That also I will show you. All right, so this is one of the website which you all can refer at your study time later when you are doing your studies. Beyond this, I have given, so I will show you the software also today and how to open that and use that. Let us have a look at the other resources that I was mentioning, because it is important to understand that after the class is over, do you have some resources where you can go back and refer? All right. Of course, the recording of the session will be there. That is all that is there. So what you see on the screen, I hope, yeah, it's taking a little bit of time to come back on your screen. So I have put the LMS screen back on. And what you're seeing right now, yeah, you can see that. Kindly see the screen. You can see for yourself that the first, that is topic number 19, is where I have uploaded all the details of SPSS, like I told you, textual, online, and YouTube videos. So the next is the guide to SPSS. The guide to SPSS is that PDF file, which I told you, which will be something which you can access at any time. And these are, instructions and all that given, which is like standard for all the versions of SPSS. All right. So you can have a look at the PDF also. You can go through it. You will not have any specific questions on in exam pertaining to this, but it will be important for you to understand it for application purpose. All right. So the entire thing, what is there in the website, is in a textual form, in the form of a printed book. All right. Should you wish to take a printout, or if you want to take soft copy and keep it and read it as you go, so all that can be done. So this is available all about SPSS for reference beyond the class. The other is sample data. So the sample data that is there is something that we will use and see how, similar to such Excel sheet data, you can use other types of data and perform operations in Excel. All right. To begin with, it will be just the basic data, entry and preparing the data for usage in the software. So we are trying to open the sample data. So let me see. I hope you can see that. Not able to see that? Okay, yeah, now you'll be able to see that. So an Excel sheet data is coming up. So that is a sample data that you can use when you are practicing also. All right, even you can use it for any other analytical purpose also, if that suffices. All right, so that is the data that has been given to you. I have uploaded it there, sample data. The Excel sheet, I think, is taking a little bit of time. It's trying to upload. You are not getting it on the screen, just a little while, it will come up. The next is, there are description. There's another PDF file which I've uploaded here, which is pertaining to descriptive statistics. All right, so descriptive and inferential statistics. So how you will use the analytical, see the software, any software that you use for analytical purpose, please understand that it is a means to an end. It's not an end by itself. It is a purpose. It's something that helps you. It's a tool that helps you. With the tool, you need to understand the technique behind using the tool. So that is what the purpose of the software is. So irrespective whether you're using R or you're using any other package that you're learning from your analytical class, or you're using SPSS, it doesn't matter really, as long as you know how to use the tool. So one of the most easiest way of using an analytical tool happens to be SPSS, although many people feel that it is very complex, it is very sophisticated. Yes, it is sophisticated, but it provides you a lot of options to try your analysis with the data, and it is very user friendly also, right? The only thing is that you need to know how to input the data, and you need to know which technique of analysis to use and how to interpret the output. That is why, for your purpose, what I've done is I'm exposing you to this software. I'm also giving additional learning resources so that you can refer that as you go, and you will also be getting case studies on the discriminant analysis, the portions in your syllabus. So solved case studies will be there, so that it will help you to understand what was the problem in the case study, how the different multivariate techniques have been used. Using SPSS, what is the kind of output that comes in, and how do you interpret that? So from beginning to end, using a technique, you will get the case study material for your reference. All right. In your exam, you will, as part of your academic requirement, you are expected to know about the technique. You're not expected to know about the software per se, but you need to know how to generate the reports. And if there is a discriminant analysis or a factor analysis to be used, why should it be used? what type of data should be used in order to run those analysis. That's what is important. And when an output is given, how do you interpret the output? That is what is required. All right. So there's not going to be any lab session. You will not have any practical session and practical marks to be given to operate the software. No, nothing like that. So this is that descriptive statistics, book that I've uploaded. It will help you to brush up your concepts, brush up the application that is required to be done with the analysis also, the different type of quantitative data, variables, all of that, right? Additional materials in addition to whatever has been given as part of the textual material discussed in the class. All right. So all these are there, and some of the short quizzes also are there in order to check your, the understanding. In addition to this, so this is the reference material for descriptive stats. Then afterwards, if you see my cursor on the screen, all right, from the fifth, the material in topic 19, these are YouTube instructional video on how to enter data in SPSS. So what I'll be doing right now is what was also mentioned in the video. So you can go through that video as well. It will help you to understand step by step how do you proceed to enter video and you enter the data, and the video will be detailing that process gradually. All right, so the YouTube video is an online resource. You will need network to access that, and you can see it at your time. It is approximately, most of the videos are between 8. Get started entering and finding variables in SPSS. For more detail about. Okay, so the right from entering the data in SPSS, every detail is given in the instructional video. Enter some data. All right. 3 variables. I've got my so that is one. That's one. And if you see the other videos, these are just not. The next set of data is the next set of YouTube videos that I've shared with all of you. It's very important to understand that there are many innumerous videos which are available, but not many are useful and many are very confusing also. So these are the selected videos that I have got for you. So you will have these videos which you can see, especially pertaining to business research using SPSS. All right, so there is a next video which is about understanding how to enter ordinal nominal scale data in SPSS. The next is a video on entering data from a questionnaire with ranked response, ordinal data. How do you enter that? Entering data from a questionnaire using multi-response, all the options that a person can pick. Then entering data from Likert scale or interval scale. All right, so how do you enter that 5 scale data or 7-point data? Entering data from a questionnaire where there is a single response. So there are a couple of these videos, and if you wish, you can also subscribe to the videos which are there pertaining from this particular subscription. And last but not the least is how to do the reliability test using Cronbach's alpha, like I told you, because reliability is one critical important aspect about research. And we said reliability score of our questionnaire, questions can be measured with the help of Cronbach's alpha score. So how it is to be done and how to interpret that is also given in the video. All right, so these are the instructional materials or the reference materials given in topic 19 of business research methods in your LMS, uploaded already on your LMS for your reference. All right, so now in order to proceed back, we will try and see that sample data that we were looking at. Let me just share the screen. So the sample data that we are going to deal with here, for example, is what is coming up on your screen. So this is a sample data in Excel sheet. All right. And if you see here, any Excel sheet, the moment you look at such a format, what you see on the screen right now is the raw data dump. So the entire data, the actual data, the real data, the main data that was collected, the raw data per se, which has not been processed in any way whatsoever, is what is actually put on the say it looks similar to what will appear in the screen, depending on different sources of data. So different sources of data, again, for example, in real life, you have multiple data sets that are getting generated. You have data sets which contain multiple variables, multiple fields. All right, so what you see here on the Excel sheet, now I request you to kindly have a look at that and start answering few questions, because once you get engaged with the discussion that we are having right now, it will be easier. Even if you're not having the software with you right now, it will be easier for you to recollect what we are doing when you are actually referring the materials and trying a practical hands-on session with any of the in the future, if you're downloading it from the net or you're using it in the office. All right, so now let us have a look at the raw data dump that it looks like. Then we come to the SPSS. So the raw data in Excel format will have certain rows and columns, right? So what do you think is, now answer my question. So the answers need to come in the chat box, please. So my first question to all of you is, in this Excel sheet, what do you think is getting captured in the columns? A, B, C, D, the columns are there, right? So columns, if you see the columns are, if I'm selecting a column, say the first column I'm highlighting is yellow, I'm skipping a few columns, and column D I'm marking as say for example red, right? Now I request you to answer, tell me, when you see such a data, it is very important for any research student to understand how the dump of the data would look like and how to make any sense out of the data dump. So preliminary, just tell me, when you see the screen, couple of data points are there all across the cells and all that, right? Can you tell me what is there in column A and column D? What is getting captured? Is that a variable? Is that a case? If it is a variable, what is getting captured in the variable? All right, you can take another column, say column F, and I mark it as orange or some brown color thing. Yeah, so there's an answer which comes in. Omkar says attributes. Yes, very good. Attributes of variables, right? So which means these are questions that you ask, right? So these are questions that you have asked and you are getting the response from the respondents, right? So what is the first question that has been asked? Yellow color column. Next question to all of you, please answer. What is the question that has been asked in column A, which everybody has answers? People have answered. Store ID. Very good. Thank you, Anita. Excellent. Thank you very much for the prompt answers, Omkar, Anita. Thank you. And now tell me the second question. What do you think has been asked in column F? Column F. Column F. Yes, very good, Anita. Thank you. Right? So whenever you ask any question, that question will get captured on each column or against each column, right? Very good. Now, thank you. Now let us go back to a few things. Let us undo the coloring of the columns. Very good. Yeah, Nisarga, Raksha, thank you for the answer. Yes, it is gendered. All right, now let us proceed. Now I'm going to highlight few rows on the Excel sheet. I hope you understand now. What I'm now highlighting is a row. Now what you see highlighted on your screen, yeah, you can see the yellow color highlighted row on the screen, horizontal. Now tell me something. Tell me something. Can you make out something different here? So what does the row indicate? What does the row indicate? Now I'm going to mark two different rows in two different colors and tell me what they can mean. So what does the yellow color row on the screen say? Is it about a question or is it about response received from a person? Excellent. Very good. Very good. Yeah, right. Rashmi, thank you so much. Yes, responses received from individuals. So these are individual responses. Indeed. Very good. Raksha, Pranita, yes, correct. Right. So the yellow color row here is response from an individual respondent. Another, so there is a couple of other things. Again, the red color or whatever you see on the screen, slightly red or brickish color, the one which I've highlighted is again the response received from another individual, right? And can you tell me now, these two individuals, whatever rows, whatever columns you're able to see, have they missed out any question? Can you respond for me? Can you give me the answer? these two highlighted portion that you see on the screen, these two respondents, did they miss out? No, they did not. They did not miss out anything is what it seems like, because there are data entries, right? If anything was missed out, how would you have seen the data? Can you answer the last question? If they would not have answered any question against any column, how would it have appeared? Yes, it would have appeared as empty cell or blank. Excellent, very good. But when you do the coding, what would you do the coding as to indicate empty cells? If you have to code and show that these responses were not received, how would you do that? We said in the previous class, you can use numbers like 9, 99. Very good, Anusha Koshi. Yes, 99 or 0. Yeah, some code which is not going to be the set of symbols or the numbers used in the actual answer set, right? Very good and excellent. So you're now all ready to go to the next step. So this is an Excel sheet dump. All right, now if we are going to take this off the screen now and we try to see the same thing on Excel. All right, let me just open this data set in Excel, in SPSS. All right, now what you see on the screen is SPSS. SPSS will have similar grids. Have you seen SPSS before? Any of you have seen? Please send in your answers if you've seen SPSS operating. Now what you see on the screen is, I hope you're able to see that. Why is it that? What you will see here is a little different now. In this worksheet on the bottom, I hope you're able to see that. I'm seeing it on the test screen. You will see that there is a data view and there's a variable view. All right. So there's a data view and a variable view. What do you mean by that? What is data view and variable view? See here, for example, if I can put the spotlight here, can you see the red color spotlight going down on the screen? Have you seen that there is a data view here, right? Please look at the bottom left portion of your screen, down left portion of your screen, what you're watching. You will see that there are two sets of the worksheet in the same file. So this is a new file. So how do you open a file in SPSS? All of that you can see that. You can go to that left-hand side where there is a file. You can have new file option, new data. Okay, or if you want to open existing data, then you go to open data. So I've already opened a data set and put it in front of you. All right. And in case you want to save the file as something else, again, you can click on this. Once you click on this, the save as option, like any other option, will come in. All right. Yeah. So what you're seeing on the screen, a little, just wait for a while, it will come on your screen. Yeah, now it has come on your screen. So what you're seeing is you can save the SPSS file. As I told you, you can do an import also from Excel into SPSS, or you can also even save SPSS into Excel formats. All right. So now what you're going to do is, supposing you have this, okay, this is a file, sample file we are using about grocery purchases or grocery details. So it's a grocery_1 month.sav. That is the extension of the file name. This is your SPSS file. If you want to save it in the same format, you again have to just click here. It will save in that particular directory, right? If you want to save it as a different file option, now observe this, the same file. Now you have to go to the file option. I hope you're able to see the highlighted portion on the cursor on the screen. So you will go to save as type. Save as type, you will have to go down. Select the Excel version which is there. I'm choosing Excel 97, which has a .xls version. I'm going to save this file in my admin folder, some folder which you choose to save your file. And this, I'm going to give it a different name. So I'm saying test 30. All right, grocery_1 month.xls test 30, because there's already one file by the same name. So I'm giving it a separate name. Now there are two options here. All right, write variable names to spreadsheet and save value labels where defined instead of data values. Now let us click both and see what happens. All right, this file is with the ending suffix of test 30. I will save the file, and once I save the file, let us see how the file appears. So first is understand something. The cardinal rule remains, your raw data file, whatever format you have it in, whether you have it in Google Sheets or Excel, please have a copy of that saved somewhere in Google Drive somewhere. So main data dump that you get from anywhere must not be subjected to all these things, because they get modified and all. So in case you lose the file, you will lose the main data. So the main raw data must be kept a copy. The hard master copy must be kept somewhere. Then a copy from that should be used for all these purposes, right? And then when you're using this data, you can interchange from importing into SPSS or exporting back from SPSS. So right now what I'm showing you is where we are trying to enter the data into Excel, because we have already brought it into SPSS. So now if I go back to my folder, so I will go to the folder section. Are you able to see that? Okay, I'll have to reshare. So if I go to the folder, so here in my folder, admin folder, I will check for, you remember this grocery month, grocery_1 month. This is the file which I've saved in Excel from SPSS format. All right. Okay. So what you're going to see is, see, this is what has got opened here. All right. Now, if you go back to Excel, so this is, you're not able to see that once again. It is, I think, taking a little time for it to come up on the screen. I am seeing that, but you are not able to see that. So what you have saved is like this. Okay, the same thing from the SPSS version has come back and got saved in this format. All right, so you can interchange and get the formatted data back. Now let us go back to SPSS right now. So let us go back and see what we are going to do here. So what you are going to do here is, there is a sheet which comes up in SPSS, wherein you will have to define the variables. So there is one portion of the file which will be used to enter the data. Okay, this is what you are seeing. Okay, it is still, I think you are yet to see the, screen. It is already shared, but it is, I think, taking a little time. So what you see on the screen, I have selected a cell, right? So these data can be manually entered. Now, in order to enter it in ones and twos and all that, right? Remember what was the data actually in the form? Do you remember what was the data in the form? The same grocery purchase data. Let me just quickly toggle you and show. See, for example, the store ID was something to do with 1 and 2, health food, yes or no, size, medium, all of that, right? Now see here, what is happening is you have the different definitions of the label. So in the second part of the file, you can put the details about the different variables that you are using. What are the names of the variables that will be in this column highlighted? You will indicate whether it is a numeric or textual. So when you click on this particular cell, this is what will come out. You need to just click whether it is a numeric, and most of the time you use either variables which are numeric or string characters. All right. Then the width, not required too much. All right. Label. So this, for example, this column, all right, if you highlight this column, these are the variable names which are coming. Now the variable names may not always be understood by people, so you can put a label. So in this column that I'm highlighting now, please look at the column that I'm highlighting now, which has the name label. In SPSS, you can give the full sentence about what does that particular variable mean. So store ID is actually written as store hyphen or space ID. The next variable is health food store. All right. So what was the variable name here? It was HLTH food. The full name is health food store. All right. So like that for against each variable. So here what happens is, this is not your data entry. You are defining the variables. So when you're defining the variables, you write the variable name and you put the label. So like that, for example, the full form of the variables are mentioned in the column under the entry of label. All right. Now let us come to another critical thing, which is to do with the values. So what is the values here? Values means what are you going to put here? So although it is ones and twos, they can enter anything. So you can just say the value could be 1. Say, for example, I'm making a live data entry for you now. All right. So you can say the first store is in Banshankari. All right. So you can put add. So if they choose one, that means that store was a Banshankari store. If they put two, say for example, they're putting two here, then I am saying it is MG Road. All right. MG Road. And I add that, right? I can put here 1 and 2. So I define 1 and 2. You remember what was the data looking like? Store ID 1, 2. So you can define 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever it is. So where do you define that? You have to define that in the values. All right. Now here, for example, see here, store, is it a health food store or not? What do you see here? There are two types of labels given here or coding. 0 is no, 1 is yes. All right. So the question would have been, is that a health food store or not? Or identifying whether the response is received from a health food store or not. So if it is not a health food store, it would be given a 0 value. Otherwise, it is put as 1. So this is where the coding is actually happening. So you remember the coding sheet you developed for your Excel sheet? Right. So now here what happens is you will have to put it inside SPSS, and once it is put inside SPSS in this value variable view, it will automatically convert all the data that you're getting into this ones and twos or whatever is the numbers that you're using. All right. So you I hope all of you have seen how to enter the values of the variables in the SPSS. That instructional video also is there for that. Now, few things is there should be no missing values, all that. This one you can proceed. Next is to see the other column, which I'm highlighting right now under measures. All right. When you see that, you will see that this particular has different options. You remember the scales that we have all done: nominal scale, interval scale, ordinal scale, and ratio scale. So this is the place where you define whether the scale used is a nominal, ordinal, interval. Interval or ratio is the same thing. All right, scale value. So for example, store ID. You all remember store ID? I'm highlighting to all of you on the screen. Do tell me. My test screen was showing that it just takes a little bit of time. So store ID was in the form of, what was the code that was used? 1 Banshankari, 2 MG Road. So 1 Banshankari, 2 MG Road means what is the code, what is the scale of the, here it is a nominal scale. So here you will put and select nominal. All right. When you put this enables you to perform certain operations which are only possible for nominal scale, and they will not be considered for interval scale analysis. All right. So this is what you need to define. So we have defined for store ID. We have seen definition for health food variable name, the label health food store, complete sentence. Values are given 0, no, 1, yes. All right. And finally, again, 0 and 1, again, these are categorical. So it's a nominal scale. You choose nominal and you put it. All right. So now let us third one. This is an example of an ordinal scale, which is ordering first, second, and third, whether the store is first or small or medium or large comparison. So that is your values are given 1, 2, and 3. And what are you putting in here? The measure you're going to put is the ordinal scale, right? So nominal, ordinal. Let us look at a third type of a scale. All right. Let us skip a few variables. All these are entered. You can see that these are gender, for example, is a nominal scale variable. Customer ID, right? Vegetable, whether they're vegetarians or not. The data was for that 0 again for no, 1 for yes, all of that. Let us come to an scale data. Amount spent, right? So amount spent here, we are not giving any kind of values for coding. So it is not a categorical variable. All right. Or it is not even an interval scale variable, but it is a variable which is like a ratio scale. You're going to take amount. Let us look at the variables which are been captured quickly. So from this sheet, I will go back to the data view. Let us toggle back to the data view. What do you see in the data view? Amount spent. I am highlighting the column. Have you seen amount spent? What is it coming as? Actual amount. Say the first entry is 416.33. Second entry, 383.24. So it's a currency amount, money amount. All right. So money amount which has been mentioned. Have you seen how the difference is from this column to a column on the left hand side. Observe on the screen, say gender. What is gender coming as? That entry 0, 0, 0, then somewhere there is 1, 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 1, like that it is coming. But for amount spent, the actual amount is there. So the scale is different. Gender was nominal scale, amount spent is a scaled item, ratio scale item. Got it? So the different types of variables that you define will help you in the data entry. And in SPSS, you have a separate place wherein you can store the code. The code itself can be given here and stored forever, and you don't need to necessarily have it separately done like in Excel. All right. So amount spent is an example of scaled item. What is the other one that we can look at? Okay, what is the other one? There is another one which is here given. So where do you give the scale item here? Scale item should be given in the column highlighted now. If you see on the screen, measure. All right. So here you choose, is it a scale item variable? Is it ordinal? Is it a nominal? All right. Now, last but not the least is the role. That means data has to be input. So you're keeping it option that the data file should be entered per se. All right. So let us come back to the screen again. Now, most of the data entry that you will be doing, will generally come from Excel. So how do you open that? For example, here. What did you see here? I have opened a different file from the one which I was showing you. That is typically a data which I have got from Excel. I hope you're, if not, okay, let us go back and see that once again. So supposing we will use this a little later, right? So supposing I want to open a new file. So I'll go to file, here open data. And then supposing I want to use what? Excel file, right? So I have to click here. Please look at this place. I think I have to use a spotlight here. So I observe the spotlight, please, on the screen. So file, which type of file should I look in? I have to look at Excel file. So I need to look at the file of type, select that Excel file here, then choose which file I want to select. All right. Supposing I want to select something else, one file I'm going to select. All right. We'll select a different type later. So I will just open this file and it will say read variable names from the first row of data. So it will start entering the data, whatever is there from the first row. You will say, okay, and you're going to get this. So you have this is a different file. It was an Excel file. All right. It had some data already there. The data right now is different. You will be able to see that. Just wait a little while. It's coming up on the screen. I think I have to reshare it. So what you are seeing on the screen is this new file. All right. So you have now imported an Excel file from another folder into SPSS. So it is a different file now. You see, it is a different file. It is now coming into SPSS, but previously it was an Excel sheet. The same thing if I want to, now I have got it in SPSS. Now, how many variables are here? There are 1, 2, and 3. Score, ethnicity, gender. This is just a sample file, okay? Some random data file that I have shared with you. So there are 3 variables here. Previously, we saw a file wherein there were so many variables, almost 50, 60 variables were there. Here you have just 3 variables: score, ethnicity, gender. Now let us see how are the definitions given. So let us go to the bottommost portion of the screen. So how do you see the bottommost portion? Meaning, what do I mean by that? I told you in SPSS, the file will contain 2 tabs. One is data view, where you see the data, and there is another. Right now, I've put the red cursor on the screen, spotlight. You can see that right there, right? And now I'm clicking that. This is variable view. Variable view means it gives you the definition of the variable. So what are the variable definition here? You have score, first variable. What type is it? It is something to do with the score that is given. It is a nominal scale, right? Let me just put this up. Yeah. All right. So there is no entry. It is supposed to be. So what was the data actually in the score? Score was supposed to be mentioned as numbers kind of a thing. So if you want to do some kind of average and all that, what you need to do is come to the variable view, convert this into the measure part of it, convert it into scale item. Then you can do. So if it is score meaning any numbers that you want to find out, right? Then if you want to find out if it is ethnicity, ethnicity would mean somebody who's perhaps of some origin or not, right? Somebody could be Indian, somebody could say Asian, somebody could be Caucasian, somebody could be European, right? All that. So you can define that value here. So one here you can mean, say, for example, Spanish. All right. You put the number. Second could be, for example, Asian, ethnicity, right? So you're giving, say, these are the options. And third, supposing third could be others. All right, I am doing the live data entry on the screen. I hope you're able to see that. So value I put as 3, label I'm putting as other or others, and I'm clicking add, and then I'm clicking OK. So what it will give is ethnicity. All right. Sorry, this one. It has gone into that 1 minute. So this will be no. Yeah. Score should be as it is. Score, we will not keep anything, right? Score, we will remove here. 1 second. Here, ethnicity. It has to go under the values of ethnicity. So 1 I mentioned was Spanish. I add that. All right. Some code, any code you will give. It could be 8, 9, 10, whatever. But most of the time we will use 1 or, starting with 0 like you saw, right? Yes or no. Second category of ethnicity. Second category could be, we said Asian. Add. Right? Third category, say we are saying is others. We put 3 others, add. So what you see on the screen here, there are 3 categories of values for the variable, and these are categories. So I'm going to go here under measure, and I'm going to say this is a nominal scale, right? So it's done. Gender, what would be the normal category? You just want to find out, right? Categorize respondents whether they're male or female. So what are the kind of coding that you can give here? What are the kind of coding? What will you put here? Again, it could be the same. You can put as 1 is male, right? You add it here. 2 female, add, and you can say okay. If you want any other category, say you want to say 3, and then you want to mention the transgender or third category or whatever it is, right? You can mention that here, and you can say okay, right? And you will get the category. So these are again nominal scale. I will click open the option drop down under measure. I will select nominal, and I will choose that. And of course the role is data will be input. What should I do with this? I have to save this. Please remember, in all computer applications you need to save your data. So save this. Now when you're saving, now 2 important things for you all to remember. When you save a data like this, the data file, you can save this as sample entry in class. This is my file. I can save it in SPSS format also, and I can save it in Excel format also. All right. So let me see how I will save it in SPSS format. As it is, you will see file name. I have given a file name and file save as type .star.sav. And I will save it. I'm okay with the admin folder on top, and I'm going to save here. I say save. If I want to save this file in Excel, so now you've learned how to import files from Excel into SPSS, do the coding in SPSS, make the data ready, because in the next class we are going to do with the analysis. That means by now you should be ready to know how to enter, code, and make the data ready, data preparation. That is what we were discussing in class yesterday, practical session today. Preparation of the data should be ready either in Excel and in SPSS. You should know how to import data into SPSS. You should be able to know how to save data in SPSS and export data from SPSS to Excel and save data that you create, modify in SPSS also, because the SPSS files will be used by SPSS to run the analysis. So what are we doing? To continue what we were doing, we are going to save this as now in Excel format. We have already saved it in SPSS format. We will see how it is going. So if I'm going to save that, export the data. Right now, we're going to export the data into to Excel. So we're going to choose save as type, choose Excel 97 through 2003, get this done. And we can say write variables names to spreadsheet, save value labels. We will click both and see what happens. So sample entry in class, we have already saved as SPSS file. Now we are saving in Excel file. So that is a suffix of .xls. We're going to save it there. And we're going to go back and see how it is. So I have to reshare the screen again and show you where did it all get stored. So we're going to go to the admin folder right now. And what you see on the screen is my admin folder where I have stored two files, brought the SPSS file here, and the SPSS file will only open with an SPSS application. If you don't have an SPSS application in your system or computer, but you have downloaded an SPSS file, it will not open, right? So SPSS file will open and it will look similar to what you have got in SPSS. Now let us look at the last entry here. That is, I have exported my SPSS data into Excel. Sample entry in class, you remember? So let us see how it comes in. All right. So how it is coming in is like this. Okay, you're not able to see the screen, so I have to stop and share the screen again. Okay, now you can see the screen. The file, are you able to see the screen title? I mean the file title. The file is sample data entry. How has it got stored in our Excel sheet? It has got stored in the format in which it has appeared, the main data, right? If you want to store it in zeros and ones, there is also an option to do that. So what we will do is we will go back here to our Excel sheet, to our SPSS data. We will try and see how we want to do it again with the coding remaining constant, right? And here it's coming up on the screen. So I hope you're able to see this. My test device says you have not still been able to see that. So yeah, now you should be able to see, all of you should be able to see what I'm having on the screen. So now I'm going to save it in Excel, and instead I'm going to choose only one of the options, the first tick box, save it. All right. And it's going to be saved as sample entry in class 2 with only writing the variable names to the spreadsheet. I'll save it in the same folder. Let me go back and open that in the same folder there and see what's the difference there. All right. What is the difference that we are seeing here now? What you are seeing as the file now. Now, the last thing that I showed you is you are able to export back from SPSS data. You are able to export from SPSS into Excel in two formats, in coded format and in the full variable detailed name format, right? So what you see here on your screen, okay, you have not been able to see the screen. The screen is this sample entry in class 2, the second file that I stored. What you see here is the data that is exported back from SPSS into Excel with coding. All right, so here you are getting the only coded format. So why do you need to do this? You can do this because if you only have, as I told you, only files in SPSS means you need to have the SPSS to deal with it. But if you don't have SPSS tomorrow or in other system, but you have the data in Excel, you can always do an importing and exporting back and forth, right? So whatever data that you have right now, do a practice session if you can on that, or see the instructional video if you do not have a system at home, or you are having a tab or a phone only right now to do the online classes and you can't do that. Whatever we have discussed, of course, you can watch the recording of this, plus also see the instructional material that I have loaded on the topic number 19 on LMS. Have a look at that. And then in the next class, when we start doing the case studies on discriminant analysis using SPSS or factor analysis, cluster analysis, it will become easier. All right. So between today's class and Saturday, we are going to have a class next Saturday. Please get yourself comfortable understanding how I will be getting the data coded, because whether you use Excel or you use SPSS or any other software, finally your data has to be coded and made ready. Data preparation has to be done in order to subject it to analysis. All right. So I hope today you have all been able to understand how and in what way we can use the softwares that are available to, number one, prepare the data and make it ready for usage. Second thing is understand how to import data into a software and export data from a software into different formats. In this case, we have tried to understand how we can import data from Excel, make the data entry, coding in SPSS only, and the same coded data can be brought back, that is exported back to Excel with either variable names or coded names, right? With this, you become now familiar with running any kind of software or any kind of analysis. Now, please do watch the videos that I have uploaded before you come to the next class. Understand how you're going to enter data for nominal scale, ordinal scale, all that I showed you, plus also some more like Likert scale and all of that, right? And try it at home whenever possible. All right, so with this, if there is no other question, we will close today's class, and subsequent to this, I'm going to post on the LMS the case studies for Unit 5. All right, we're going to start with the multivariate statistical techniques for Unit 5 on Saturday with the case studies. As I said, the case studies will be solved case studies. First, the problem will be given, how to do it, and what is the solution. All right, any other doubts you have? So sample data sets are there. Please try doing the coding on Excel. If nothing else is available, at least on Excel, get yourself familiar. Some of the data sets I've uploaded in LMS, use those sample data sets and try yourself, in coding it and making it. Use the questionnaires that you have got. Now try and see if you can enhance those questionnaires to include, interval scales and more of that set, and see how it can be used. Then you will see how the linkage will be there in the case study. So if there is no other, question, I shall, call it a day. Please take care of yourselves, and I'll meet you on Saturday.
Okay.